I have to say that the most difficult thing I did was to try and get Charlie's Treasures published. And one of the fortunate things I had in the whole process was there is a great artist and storyteller, Dean Morrissey, whose work I just absolutely fell in love with. And I had a chance of actually having him be my mentor in this project. And I remember him telling me the way that he became successful was he went to New York City and he sat in the lobby of every single publishing company he could until finally somebody would take a look at his work and take a look at what he did. Well, that's very difficult to do unless you have a lot of free time. And at one point in my life, I was between jobs, and unfortunately, in the time when you're between jobs, you don't have any money. So I had taken rough manuscripts of the book, and I made a hardbound version of it. I made the covers myself. I covered them in fabric myself. I printed all the pages myself. It was like 6 or 7 hours in every single book, and I managed to sell those and to friends and family and make enough money to go to New York. And I went to New York at the end of January in the coldest winter in a decade. I was born and raised in California. I was born in beautiful downtown Burbank. I do not have the blood for a winter in New York City. Not ever. Not in the coldest one in a decade. Ever. And I honestly can say I have walked 50 blocks through Manhattan one way in a snowstorm to deliver a manuscript by hand to a publisher. And in 10 days, I knocked on the door of 110 agents and publishers. It was the most difficult thing I think I've ever done, and yet one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. At the end, by the time I got home, I had gotten a phone call from Frank Wyman of the Literary Group International, and they wanted to pick up the story and act as our literary agents. Unfortunately, he never was able to really place the book because the book has a difficulty finding a home on the shelf. But the reward that somebody as influential as him saw the book and was willing to pick up the phone and call an unknown author who had delivered a hand-delivered manuscript in the dead of winter was worth it. But I'll tell you something. Walking through Manhattan in the freezing cold was one of the toughest things I've ever done. But I would do it again. Honestly, I would do it again.